Snuff Hour!
Welcome to Snuff Hour. My name is Cracked Rack. This is the series where I discuss the most extreme horror films and their most disturbing scenes with no performative empathy, only a clinical observation of what's actually happening with some scientific discussion. Today we're going to be discussing Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, a film that is very obscure but highly disturbing. It is widely hated, but I think it is one of the most disturbing films of all time. The film starts with severely mentally disabled and controlled serial killer Leatherface mutilating severely decomposed human skin for a face mask. It then cuts to the two protagonists of the film driving for a road trip to an undisclosed location. They are clearly lovers and have a very good chemistry. However, they receive the unsettling news that nearby their location, which is very specific, many human remains have been found in bogs. It then cuts to the forensic scientists on scene. The protagonists are then, in a wake-up call they don't seem to notice, pulled over in a traffic stop, where these forensic scientists are working.
I just want to get this trip over with. Drive all night, I can.
The couple then makes their way back to their destination, however realize that they're very low on gas, so they decide to stop at the nearest gas station, which happens to be a very unsettling place with a very unsettling man working there. Of interacting with the other person at the scene, who was very unsettling and uncanny. She then tries to use the restroom, which sets up the next disturbing scene, where she is peeped on by the pervert that we saw earlier. The conflict that arises from this causes the mentally unstable gas station worker to fire an entire shotgun round into the back of their vehicle, causing a major hole through their back window. They are then tailed from behind by a very mentally disturbed driver, and this causes them to veer off the road and lose a tire. On top of this, a skinned dog's carcass is thrown on their hood. Instead of making haste, they slowly take their time to change the tire before they are met with. They manage to drive away. However, some type of distraction makes its way onto the road intentionally, which causes them to veer off the road, both vehicles, flipping over.
Take it easy. You're gonna be okay. Take it easy. Gotta get her out.
They are met with assistance from a man named Benny, who is a survivalist, who then goes off to find help elsewhere. He manages to flag down this very unsettling trucker who he believes is of aid to him. However, he quickly pieces together the red flags and tries to assemble his machine gun to no avail. Meanwhile, an escaped victim, walking the forest, is met with complete evisceration. The couple attempts to flee, but is met with more evisceration. Attempts to flee and finds a house that looks somewhat inviting in this emergency, but is actually a death trap designed to lure her into a more dangerous situation. Then trapped against her will in what begins a series of unsettling events. She is then held against her will and psychologically tortured for seemingly hours. Her boyfriend's corpse, which is in a state of post-mortem flaccidity, is hung up for pleasure and viewing. The sadistic, psychopathic, psychological games of torture then continue. In the middle of the forest is one of the disturbed family members disposing of body parts they don't want the police or other people to find.
Somebody's little puppy dog, ain't you, motherfucker?
Forced to engage physically with Leatherface. We are then showcased Leatherface's severe mental disability, which regresses him more to the age of a 3 or 4-year-old, with him playing with children's toys. I am not a psychologist, but this can be a hallmark of schizophrenia.
3.
After executing her boyfriend, they decide to psychologically torture her as much as possible, with Leatherface basically just taunting her and molesting her. Luckily, Benny from earlier decides to start firing his machine gun through the window of the house. I skipped ahead because the last 20 minutes are not entertaining or scary at all, just cheesy and pathetic. So we're at the end of the film now. The so-called heroes of the film are now in a climax with the antagonist Leatherface in a pond. However, Leatherface's chainsaw is still active underwater and floats to the top, which is so against the laws of physics. Combustion engines and chainsaws need air to run. Can't be underwater, it would stall. The woman is forced to the ground but grabs a rock to defend herself, which is a clever idea. She then decides she's going to make the difficult decision to kill Leatherface.
Sorry. Die. Sorry.
She apologizes while doing it because of the contrast between his severe mental instability and his danger. It would be like putting down an animal or a child. Then, the next morning, she survives. She is clearly traumatized and has a host of mental disorders she will have to work out in therapy now. She is relieved to be alive, however, in the moment.
Speed! Speed! Spit it! Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
It's knock-knock time and lover, and I'm back!
So there you go. There's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. A very cheesy but very disturbing film that showcases the horror of severe mental disability causing childlike regression, as well as being hunted and abused. I would recommend this film if you can get past the dry parts. Before I go, the next episode I will be discussing and showcasing the human centipede in what will be one of the most disturbing and possibly banned YouTube videos in recent history. Mark my words. That's all. See ya.